Hey everyone, back in Washington this week after spending some good time back home last week. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to keep saying it. One of my favorite parts of the job, and probably the most important part, is getting to talk about the issues with all of you. We all know we don't always agree on every issue, but I think overall we've done a pretty good job of having some cordial dialogue, and it allows us to continually come back to the table, issue after issue after issue, find those places where we have common ground, work through those issues where we don't have common ground, and that's been something that's been outstanding. Unfortunately, when you turn on the TV these days, that's not always what you see. You don't see people talking about the pros and cons of the issues, having a good debate on the important issues that are really of the time. Instead, largely you just see people that are screaming at each other or talking past one another, and it's not productive, and it makes it hard to break through the noise in order to get through the truth. And so I want to spend this week's video talking a little bit about some of the stories from this week that you probably didn't hear about in all the news. But before I do, I will quickly address what's been dominating the headlines this week. And here's what I'll say. And I said this in a written statement because it's something I believe. I said this when I was asked for comment on it. We shouldn't run and we shouldn't hide from the truth. If we seek out truth and embrace it, then Americans, we as congressmen, if we do that, then Americans will know that we all play by the same set of rules. And there have to be, that has to be the way that things go on. Now, there have been two processes that have been playing out for a period of time now, one in the House of Representatives and one in the Senate. And these committees in Congress should have access to any notes or memos that exist out there and what's going on. Now we've had a third now being run by the former director of the FBI, Robert Mueller. One of the things that's unfortunate in Washington is that it seems more often that people up here are looking to find a noose rather than looking to find the truth. And that's true on both sides of the aisle. We need to seek out truth wherever it may lead us. I hope Robert Mueller can be looked at as unbiased and his finding respected by all involved. That's my hope. In Congress this week, we did a number of things. We passed, excuse me, we passed a number of important bills, and I want to talk about a couple of them. We passed the bipartisan Caesar Syria Civilian Protection Act, designed to stop the slaughter of the Syrian people. The bill encourages a resolution to the conflict and holds the Syrian human rights abusers accountable for their crimes, and that's very serious. I know as well as anybody in the world what is going on in this theater of war, and what is happening to these people across Syria, and there's nothing about it that's lost on me for the young, the old, men and women there, and it's something that we should all be thinking a great deal about. And included in this provision is something that I wrote to ensure that congressional oversight as the administrator evaluates the future of military action is granted. The House also acted this week to address rising anti-Semitic threats by passing a bill that I co-sponsored. It's called Combating European Anti-Semitism Act, which increases monitoring of anti-Jewish incidents and the steps taken to combat them. The legislation also encourages our government to partner with European law enforcement agencies to share information and best practices to combat anti-Semitic threats. So that's, again, it's something that's very serious to me. I've had the opportunity across our district and across the nation to speak about the anti-Semitism that I've witnessed in my life, and it's something that I take very, very seriously, and it's something that I hope we can all find as common ground. It's not an issue of left or right or Republican or Democrat or it's an issue that we can all rally around and say it needs to stop. Beyond that, we also passed a bill that I've been pushing for months to ensure that criminals who murder law enforcement officers face justice for their crimes. Right now, under the current federal law, our local police and firefighters receive less protections than federal law enforcement. And that's not right. And it's exactly this bill, the Thin Blue Line Act, that changes things. And so I'm very proud of that piece of work that we did this week for our law enforcement officers, our first responders across the district and across the nation. I don't know a better way to say it than I applaud the work that you do every single day. I respect the work that you do. I know that you go out every single day with a pistol on your hip as law enforcement officers, donning body armor, knowing full well that gear may have to fulfill its function, that our first responders go out there each day, not knowing what it is that they're going to face and knowing that they are putting their life in harm's way. And I think among issues that we can all come together on, that is one of the easiest ones, is making sure that you have the protections that you deserve as those that keep our society functioning smoothly and between the lines. So I thank you all for your work. And beyond that, I'll say that I also helped to introduce a bill this week to recognize August 7 as Purple Heart Day, something also that's very important to me, very close to my heart. When I woke up in Walter Reed Army Medical Center, I was with many men and women who were much more injured than I was. Their dedication and their resolve, it was something that kept me going. And it's in their honor that I led introduction of this bill. When I could probably speak, endlessly about the courage that I've seen out of these men and women that I recovered alongside. It's probably one of my favorite things to think back on, and it's one of those things that allows me to tell people often that my recovery process, whereas many people think it was probably the most difficult thing in my life, there was a lot of emotional elements to that were very difficult. Much of it I can look at and say it was one of the easiest things in my life, and I can say that because of those peers that I had around me that I could look at every single day that weren't quitting, that weren't giving up, that it didn't matter what they faced. They were going out there knowing that the next day was still going to be their best day. It was still going to be a better day, that the next year was still going to be the best year of their life, that it wasn't something that was behind them. And I think the inspiration that they showed me is something that everybody can certainly look to and become better as a part of witnessing. Finally, when I first took office, I was worried about exactly how much money was being spent to rent office space in Palm Beach County as a part of what my budget is as a member of Congress. So I set out looking for a less expensive alternative, and we were able to find different places to cut costs, which is the costs that are to you, the taxpayer who bears the burden of any work that we do in Washington, D.C. It is the work of your hands that funds all of the legislation that we do here. So I take it very, very seriously. So we have office in Port St. Lucie, an office in Stewart, and an office in North Palm Beach, but paying less than what was done previously. So it's something that I'm very happy about. I hope you'll stop by if you need help with any sort of issue, whether it's at the VA, whether it's something with Medicare or immigration or something else. One point I'll say on this is that the people who work in those district offices, our local office, they are not political. They are not there to engage in political arguments. They are there to help with casework, to help veterans with their issues that they're facing at the VA, to help seniors with their Medicare or their Social Security issues, to help families get passports for when they're traveling overseas, and a number of other issues. And when people come into our office with the goal of harassing that staff or trying to disrupt them or the people that are there to get help, trying to do things that waste the very limited time that they have, the people that they're really hurting are the constituents. A senior who needs medicine and isn't getting the right response from Medicare, or a veteran who is stuck in a backlog at the VA. I'm happy to have a dialogue about the issues. We've done it on numerous occasions, numerous town halls at different times, different locations across the district, different days of the week. I'm happy to have the conversation wherever it is that we can have it, but as a community, let's take the high road and not jeopardize care for our seniors, our veterans, and other people in our community who really need the help, because that's what those district offices are for. Beyond that, I want to thank you all for just, again, taking the time to listen. I look forward to talking more soon, whether it's our time back home in the district or somewhere else in the world, on the phone, wherever it may be. As always, I always say, it is an honor. It's my honor. It's my honor to represent you in Congress. I couldn't take it more seriously every single day. I hope every single one of you have a great weekend, have a great week next week, and I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. Take care.